Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my allotment. Now, today I am just planting out my overwintered onion sets, and we've got two varieties that I've brought this year. They are electric and radar. Now, I don't know about you, but I always like to grow overwintered onion sets purely because I like to see that my allotment is doing something and growing edibles all over the winter. As you know, I'm all about growing edibles and I want to be able to produce food all year round. And just having the sort of motivation that something is actually happening on the allotment gives me motivation to carry on and continue growing lots of things. Now let me know what your thoughts are about growing onion sets over winter in the comments down below. This is something I know we often have discussions about on our live show. But for me, I do like to grow overwintered onions. I do them from sets because I just find that a little bit easier when we have pretty busy times going on in other areas. Whereas seeds, seeds are much better, don't get me wrong, but there's a little bit more effort involved. For me, these sets, which are basically just, if he doesn't drop it, just small onions. You know, got the root there, the top there. And to plant these sets is pretty easy. We dig a hole about 5 centimeters deep if you can. We're on a very hard clay soil, so we do run a risk of things rotting. Just dig a hole and we drop it in. And we repeat that every 10 centimeters or so. Now, there are some negative sides to growing onion sets, which is something I'm going to discuss now while you think about your answers to the question I gave. And the negatives are that they do have a tendency to bolt and pod up a flower spike more, which isn't great because that means that those ones that have bolted need to be used first. But the other negative is they don't store well when we pop them into storage. But that's where our spring planted onions come in. I feel, we get an earlier crop with these autumn onions, which is one of the reasons that I like to grow them, as well as the fact it makes things look like something's going on the allotment. Now, another negative that I have here down on the allotment is this really hard clay soil that I have here. This bed that we're planting these in is one of the newer beds, so we haven't really built up the compost levels like we had down on the bottom half yet. It's coming, it's slowly getting there, but what the risk is that because this hard clay soil holds on to water so much, when we go through a wet winter, the clay soil can of course rot away at the onions, which does create a bit of a problem. Now, I combat that. I probably don't plant these as deep as I could to try and stop them from rotting away or reduce the risk of them rotting away, and it seems to work quite well. But I know in the winter, especially after a lot of rain, the water just sits here and it becomes a bit of a quagmire, to be honest with you. Well, that's got those overwintered onions all planted out for another year. Quite happy with that. Still got a bit of space left in this bed, so we might get some overwintering shallots in here as well, just to make use of this bed. This is great. We're getting everything coming together for this growing season, so very, very happy to say the least. Now, what we will do, as I said, because we're on a clay soil and I haven't put these in as deep as I would like, we're going to cover these over in a mulch. I haven't got any compost available at the moment, so what I'm going to do is get some leaves, run over it a bit with a lawnmower and cover this over with the leaves, just to suppress any weeds. Who knows, we might get some compost pretty soon, however, when I move the shed and start moving compost bins around. Keep tuned for that. Right guys, you take care and I'll see you again next time.